Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be teaching you about artboards here in Photoshop. So everything I know about artboards, I'm just going to be sharing my knowledge with you. Okay, there was a time when I started using Photoshop and I didn't really understand how artboards work. I would see people share screens of their workspace on Twitter and on X, and I would be like, how are they creating multiple canvases inside one workspace, inside one file? So well, I'm going to show you how it's done, and everything you need to know about it. So if you're looking at my screen now, you're going to see 6 different flyers inside this one workspace. All right, so I have 6 different canvases inside one workspace. So those 6 different canvases are called artboards. All right, so I'm just going to show you how to create them, how to work with them, and everything in between. All right, so let's go to our home page. Alright, so let's go to home page. So here in our home page, if you want to create an artboard, you just like you're creating a normal file. So you click on new file and you come here and you set your parameters for your document. When you're done setting all your parameters, you come here to this artboards. Look at it here, artboards. You click it, make sure it is checked, and once it is checked, right, you come here and click on create. So let me make sure that this is, I'm going to use a square frame, a square size. So I'll click on create. Now if you look at your layers panel, you're going to see artboard 1. All right, what does that mean? It means that you have artboards in this document. Let me show you the difference between a document that does not have artboards and one that has. So if we go back, if we create a new file, now let's untick these artboards. We untick it, right? Click on create. If you look at your layers panel, what are you seeing? Just background, right? That's all you see, background. But if we go to the one where we created an artboard, you're going to see artboard 1. All right, so now how do you get multiple artboards? So now click on this artboard 1 and something is going to pop up. If you look at your cursor, that shape is called the Artboard Tool. You go to your tools panel, right click on the first tool, you're going to see move tool. Under move tool we have our artboard tool. So artboard tool is a tool that we use to create artboards, everything concerning artboards, right? You use your artboard tool. So now once this artboard tool is selected, and once you see these plus signs, these 4 plus signs, any of those plus signs you click, a new artboard is going to be created there. So if you click on this one, you can see a second one has been created. If you look at your layers panel, you're going to see artboard 1 and artboard 2. All right, so let me zoom out. Can you see this? Can you see this? Artboard 1 and artboard 2. All right, so if I press this plus that is up here, can you see another one has been created? Right, can you see how it works? Another one has been created. So artboard 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so this is one way. This is one of the ways of creating your artboards. Let me go back now. Let me delete. Let's go back to the first one. So now let's say you have your first one. Now there are some people that like starting their designs with an invisible background, so they don't like this white. So how do you fix that? So come here, click on artboards. Once you click on this artboard 1, go to your properties panel and you'll see artboard background color. So you cannot change it from white to transparent. Alright, so once this is transparent, every other artboard you create, if I create a new one, they're also going to be transparent. So that's one thing that might come in handy for you. Alright, like me now, I like transparent backgrounds when I'm starting. Alright, so another thing you need to know is another way of creating artboards is you can just use the artboard tool. Alright, like I said, right click on the move tool and select artboard tool. Once you have the artboard tool selected, you can just left click and drag, and just like that we've created new artboards. It's as simple as that. Alright, left click and drag and all these artboards will be created. If you look at the layers panel, you see that everything we are doing is reflecting there. Now let's start bringing in elements so you can see how it works. So now before you bring in elements, always take notes of what artboard group is selected. So if you look at our layers panel, you can see that artboard 5 is what is selected. So once it's selected, let me just bring in anything. Right, let me go to my assets. Sorry, let me go to PNGs. I think PNGs will work well. Alright, so let me bring this in. So I'm just going to drag and drop. Right, can you see what just happened? It entered Artboard 5. Why? Because Artboard 5 was highlighted, it was selected when I drag and drop it in. Alright, so if I select Artboard 3 and I go and I drag something, where will it enter? It enters Artboard 3 because Artboard 3 was selected. Now what if you want to move something between artboards? Okay, so let's say this is already in Artboard 3. All we have to do is drag that thing and it has appeared in Artboard 1. But what if we want it both in Artboard 1 and Artboard 2 at the same time? All you have to do is hold your Alt, right, click on it and drag. And you can see I've duplicated it in Artboard 1 and 2. What did I do? I held my Alt, I left clicked and I dragged it into Artboard 3. So you can see it is duplicated, right? Can you see that? So that is how you can duplicate things across different layers. Now if you look at this, let's come back here. If you look at the positioning of the logos, the logo, the tagline, you can see that in all the flyers the logo and tagline is at the same position. Okay, even the call to action in most of them is at the same position. How did I achieve that? So some of you might be stressing and you might start manually trying to figure out how to position it in the same place, but there's a simple trick. All you have to do is copy and paste, right? So let's go back to this artboard. So let's start from the beginning. So let's say we are here, right? And I come here, I create a second artboard. So let's go to Artboard 1. Let's bring something into Artboard 1. Let's say I bring this water bottle. Right? I reduce the size. So see where I kept this water bottle. Let's say you want to duplicate this water bottle from Artboard 1 to Artboard 2 and you want it to be in the same position. What will happen? What you do is you highlight that rectangle, you press Ctrl C to copy. Go to Artboard 2, select Artboard 2, then press Ctrl Shift V. And you can see that it has been pasted in Artboard 2 in the exact same position that it was in Artboard 1. Right? What will happen if you just press Ctrl V? So let me select Artboard 2 and I press Ctrl V. Can you see what just happened? It appeared in the middle. So if you copy and you just paste, it will appear in the middle. But if you copy and you press Ctrl Shift V, it will appear in the exact same position that it was in the previous artboard, on the condition that both artboards are the same size, the same dimensions. If this artboard 2 was a different size, then even if you press Ctrl Shift V, it's going to appear in a different location because they are not the same size. Alright, so I think that's pretty much all. I don't know, is there any other thing? Okay, now you can see this color palette. You can see that it does not belong into any artboards. So if you look at our layers, these are the different artboards. And also there's something I forgot to mention. You can actually rename your artboard layouts. So just double click on it and you can rename it to whatever you want. So if you look here, that's what I did. Instead of artboard 1, 2, 3, I renamed everything to whatever I wanted. Alright, so now we're talking about this palette that's outside. If you look at our layer, all these things are artboards. Let me hide this. You can see that just hid. If you hide something will hide, right? So all these groups are artboards. But why is this palette not here? It's because if you look here, that palette is outside all of the layers, all of the artboards. So yes, you can have elements that exist outside your artboards. So let me show you. So now this water bottle, right? All we have to do is just drag it out like this, and it is outside our layers, our artboards. So if I close these two artboards, you can see that this one is outside, right? So you can actually even leave some elements outside, like your color palettes, or maybe a reference design that you're trying to use to get inspiration, or you can create a mood board outside there, whatever you want, right? So I believe I have pretty much covered everything you need to know about artboards. Okay, let's talk about the last thing, which is exporting. Thank God I remembered. So let's say you're finished designing everything like this, and you want to export, right? How do you export? It's the same process. Just go to file, go to export as. Once you've clicked on export as, this window is going to pop up and it's going to show you all your artboards. But note, it's not going to show you elements outside artboard. So that color palette that is not in any artboard is not going to be exported, but all your artboards is going to show here and it's going to be exported. Okay, it's taking time because my laptop is going to help me. I'll soon get a better one. But if you have a sharp laptop, it will not take time at all. Everything is just going to pop up. But let's give it some time because I really want to show you guys what it looks like. Can this thing load? Alright, so I'm sure you guys have seen the benefits of artboards, because imagine if I wanted to create designs for this brand and I started creating it in different files. Do you know how stressful that is? Because some elements will repeat itself, and it just makes sense to do everything inside, the same place, inside the same artboards. You can just copy and paste elements. You can just take the same color from one flyer to the other flyer. It makes your workflow simpler, faster, and easier. But if you're designing it in different files, it will be more difficult. Right, so you can see what we have here. If you look on the left hand side, you can see that every single artboard is represented here, and we can just, if you click export, all of them will export at the same time. You can also select the particular ones you want. So you can also highlight the particular ones you want to be exported, and you can leave the rest. Okay, you can also, of course, if you know how to export, then there's nothing else to teach you here. You can change the width, the height, whatever you want, PNG to JPEG to GIF, whatever. Alright, also, let's say you don't want to export everything and you're here. What do? You can just highlight the artboards that you want. So just press Ctrl and click to highlight, and then if you right click, you can now click on export as, and then it will export only what you want. Alright, so the shortcut is also Ctrl Shift Alt W to export as. Alright, so I think with that I have covered everything about artboards. Okay, I didn't expect this video to be this long, but I want to believe that if you watch to this point, then you should have no issues whatsoever with artboards. Alright, so if you watch to this point, smash the like button, drop a comment, tell me what you learned, or if this video was helpful for you, and of course subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to share this video to a designer to help them in their design journey. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.